Now, in Australia, we use the term taking the mickey. That's the polite version. There is a dirty bar conversation version. But let's keep doing that because we didn't get a chance to talk last week. Can you please just give me a little taste of your thoughts of those idiot celebrities who flew up on Jeff Bezos's man-sized rocket to space?
I love everything about it. I love the fact that they all decided to be part of Jeff Bezos's phallic fantasy, to get in his penis-shaped rocket. Their little spaceship is shaped exactly like a breast with a big nipple at the top, and blast out into, like, quote, space, which really is just the same distance into the sky that we all go. I mean, honestly, they did not go up much further than everybody goes when they fly on Delta. And it would have been fine. If they had done it, we would have mocked their obsession with their little outfits and Lauren Sanchez with the breasts huge and pumped out, even in space. We would have mocked it a little. I'm not going to lie. But they wouldn't have taken serious blowback like they did from both sides if they had just done this. If they had gotten off of the thing and come back down and said, that was amazing. Very cool. What they're doing is cool. Hats off to the astronauts who, like, really do this and put their lives on the line. Newfound respect, and now humbled, I will retreat into my little world of being a singer or a news anchor. No. What we got was lectures in how brave they are, how proud I am of me, which is what Gayle King said, and how proud we all needed to be of them, how nothing that happened on board that spacecraft, which is what they wanted us to call it over and over, like it was an Apollo mission craft, was frivolous. Nothing around this space flight, this space journey, that's how they wanted to be referred to, not a flight, was frivolous. Meanwhile, they invited the Kardashians. Okay, they literally, they could invite anybody in the world to watch them, and they invited Oprah and the Kardashians. But then they don't understand why we didn't take it seriously. Then you have them kissing the ground when they got off of it. Honestly, like they had just been saved from the Titanic and got back on land. Ahoy, mateys! No, they were kissing the ground. They were up there for 3 minutes. Speaking of Jeff Bezos' sexual fantasy. 3 minutes, I tell you, Paul, and got down like, they thought they'd never see us again. Then you have those two morons who are doing the commentary at Mission Control, one of whom is former Fox/CNN, one of whom is ESPN, sitting there talking about this again, like it's Apollo 13, like they're in real danger. They could get stuck up there. And as they land, they say, oh, all their training comes down to this. Their training? What are you saying? Lauren Sanchez can't string 2 sentences together. She's only known for showing her breasts to people. Gayle King can't, we don't know how smart she is. All we know is that she's friends with Oprah. That's how she's gotten every gig she's ever gotten. And then you got Katy Perry, who spent her big moment spending more time looking inside the camera than outside the craft, because she was too obsessed with showing us the little things she'd brought to space and making sure she was seen on camera with her doe-eyed little look. And so these two morons playing along, who clearly had been hired by Blue Origin to make it sound as big as they could, are actually talking about their intense training.
And speaking of taking the proverbial, can we talk about Larry David? Now, a genius who made one of the best TV shows of all time. In fact, made 2 of the best TV shows of all time in Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. But he's gone a little too far, writing a satirical piece for the New York Times, which is all about bashing up Bill Maher, the American comedian and commentator, for having dinner with Donald Trump.
There's a rule, it usually applies in journalism, and it definitely applies amongst most Jewish people I know and those of us who consider ourselves their friends. You don't mess with Hitler. It's kind of a thing. Even if something is kind of Nazi-ish or Holocaust-y, like what they're doing to the Uyghurs over there in China, you can make a pretty good case. It's a little Holocaust-y. You generally don't use that. The Holocaust was the Holocaust, and we generally don't touch it. And we generally don't, sincerely compare people to Adolf Hitler, right? Of course, they did it to Trump. And now Larry David wants to say, ha, 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 isn't it funny he had dinner with Hitler? Look what he did, Bill Maher. I mean, it's so absurd. And Larry David, at some level, is too smart not to know that it's absurd. but he can't see through the TDS, Paul. It's a serious affliction. It's like the clap. You know, it gets all over your body and it affects your vision and your brain and your skin, and very hard to come out from under it without several doses of penicillin. And Larry David cannot get out from under his TDS.
Look, Megyn, I was going to talk about the deconstruction of the administrative state. I was going to talk about the deep state. I was going to talk about the Supreme Court pushing back on Trump. I was even going to talk about Trump tonight, talking about reducing the tariffs on China. But guess what? Let's just keep this a fun one. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you, Paul.